Together, we can help save the restaurants we love.
Wow, that hits all the check marks of every pandemic-era ad. Soft, twinkly piano music? Check. An eclectic cross-section of races, ages, ethnicities and genders? Check. A vague threat that if we don't participate in capitalism, the things we hold near and dear will be destroyed? Checkity check. But even as our usage of these apps has increased, there's been a rising chorus of criticism regarding their business models, perhaps summed up best by this New York City Council member.
When you see something that sucks the blood out of anything, you call them leeches. And that is exactly what Grubhub is.
It's true. When you see something that sucks the blood out of anything, you do call them leeches. Also, if you see something that has 10 stomachs, 32 brains, 9 pairs of testicles and several hundred teeth, that's a leech too, but admittedly doesn't apply quite as neatly here. And while that might sound harsh to you, it's not totally unfair, because for all the convenience these apps provide us, the customers, they come with a huge cost for everyone else involved, from restaurant owners to those delivering our food. So tonight, let's talk about delivery apps. And first, let's talk about what food delivery used to look like. Picture it, it's 2003, and you're at home hungry after a long day of work at Blockbuster Video. So you check out the giant stack of takeout menus you keep in a drawer, then, trigger warning for anyone under 30, you'd make a phone call to a restaurant, say your order out loud to a person who worked there, and then a delivery worker also hired by the restaurant came to drop it off, then you tipped in cash and tuned back into American Idol to watch the most famous person in the world, Ruben Studdard. The system was by no means perfect, but restaurants made a profit on your order, and delivery drivers were at least theoretically paid as employees. But over the past decade, apps have fundamentally shifted that model. Now, the ordering part tends to take place via an app, which then contacts a delivery driver who typically doesn't work for the restaurant.
Exactly. That was how it was in the old days. People used to work directly with the restaurants. That was all cash, by the way. That was all cash. Now that, you know, we're in the 21st century, there's application for everything. Now everything is all digitalized, and a lot of people are saying, damn, bro, like, remember those days when there was no apps and you just directly work with the restaurant itself? I remember those days, and man, you're like, whoever ever thought that it all started with Postmates and then Grubhub and DoorDash and then Uber Eats, you know what I mean? Uber started just as Uber, then it expanded as to Uber Eats. But anyways, let's just keep watching the food delivery apps last week tonight with John Oliver. It's an HBO special, so hopefully I don't get taken down by this. But, you know, it is what it is at this point.
Who transports the food to you. And to be fair, there have been some upsides in this model for restaurants.
There's definitely a lot of positives, and one of them is like knowing that there's a delivery guy nearby to pick up their food, and we don't have to have someone on staff. We would need about 15 guys here at all times.
Right, before delivery apps, that owner would have needed 15 guys just standing around at all times, which honestly sounds less like a restaurant and more like someone describing an orgy that didn't quite take off. And apps will point out that they also put restaurants' menus in front of hungry people, which can help them with reaching more customers and growing revenue.
That's insane, y'all. It reminds me when I was doing grocery deliveries.
Exactly. These companies make money because they make some off the various fees that you might see when you order, but they also charge restaurants 15 to 30% of an order in commissions. And that number can get even higher when apps charge restaurants additional fees for everything from boosting their placement in the app to making them part of special promotions. And especially during the pandemic, when online orders were basically the only ones coming in, restaurants who'd signed up for an app could be unpleasantly surprised when they saw just how little was left after the apps had taken their cut.
We signed up with
during
this pandemic is just
any way to get any income. That's insane. And the restaurant margins are really, really low, guys. They're really low.
More than $16,000, Grubhub gave the restaurant only about $7,000 back.
It was equal to 42% of our sales we got. So they took 58% of it.
It's true. They took 58%.
That's insane. That's insane. Wow, 58%. That's robbing them, basically.
Numbers being yelled at you with human Squidward. But 58% is a lot. Now, Grubhub insists that that restaurant agreed to those fees up front and that 58% is an outlier. But it's worth noting, the Washington Post recently ran an experiment where they ordered the same meal from this restaurant in San Francisco on 3 different apps. The meal itself cost $20.69 before fees, taxes and tip. And when they contacted the restaurant, they found that for Uber Eats, the restaurant got $14.48 back. For Grubhub,
That's true.
it got
You could get a better deal if you order the
DoorDash,
restaurants
it only got
directly. You could get a better deal when you order the restaurants directly. That is true.
Also, as a quick side note, what a fun assignment for a journalist that was. Sometimes journalists track down sources or pour through thousands of pages of documents. Other times, you get to order chicken parm a bunch of times in a row. It's really the luck of the draw. But it's gone to the point where many restaurants have taken to increasing their prices on the apps to at least partially offset those fees. That is why you may have noticed food often costs more on an app than it does at the restaurants. And you might think, well, restaurants should just...
See, guys, like I said, like, it is true. You can get a better deal if you order directly to the restaurants.
...against their will. In DC alone, Grubhub was accused of listing more than 1,000 restaurants available for delivery that they didn't have contracts with. And if you're thinking, well, I still don't see a problem, they get to be on the app without paying for it, there are actually...
That's crazy.
...issues there. Not every restaurant wants to do delivery or is even set up for it.
Of course, because they don't want to lose their margins. They're already losing margins as it is.
With orders they never expected. One in California even complained about Grubhub's menu listing food that it does not actually make and has never made. Basically, Grubhub would list a restaurant without its permission or knowledge and then make money by charging you a high delivery fee to bring the food to your door. But that might put the restaurant itself in a tough spot because they might be disappointing customers in ways they don't even realise.
M Street Baking Company in Howell is open for takeout during the pandemic. Like many restaurants, they were approached to join Grubhub for food delivery, but declined.
We found out that they were sending people in pretending to just be regular customers, but actually working for Grubhub and delivering our stuff without our knowledge. They were offering milkshakes.
That's insane.
We don't put lids on our milkshakes because they go directly to you.
That's insane. I remember those days. That explains it all. When at the beginning of those days, they never used to pack the food correctly.
Than if I knew it was going right to you.
Yeah, of course you would, and I am glad about that. Because I, for one, do not want to drink a milkshake that's been raw-dogging the air in Kyle's vape smoke-filled Honda Civic.
I remember those moments, guys. I remember when there's no lid in a drink fountain cup. That was insane.
Early days.
When we launched Postmates 3 years ago, we did deliveries from Chipotle's restaurant, and we got a cease and desist from them. And they said, we got a cease and desist from them. And they said, like, guys, we're a little bit concerned about the food quality.
Right.
But, you know, what did we have to lose? So
What's going on, Chad Smith? We're doing a lot of live streams, buddy, a lot of live streams.
On food safety by Chipotle, the biggest red flag imaginable, and blowing that off. Also, I just want to go back so you can see Jim Cramer's expression there, because this is the happiest I've ever seen anyone look. He is positive.
That dude is the face of capital greed right there.
Kid meeting a dog for the first time. No one has ever been happier than this. And in the case of Grubhub, it's occasionally engaged in tactics that seem more like a protection racket. For instance, in 2020, it allegedly listed restaurants that it didn't partner with them as closed or not accepting online orders even when they were, which feels especially shitty coming from the same company that made that ad saying that together we can help save the restaurants we love. I guess Grubhub just forgot to add and burn the ones that don't make us money to the fucking ground. It is no wonder restaurant owners have increasingly turned on these apps, likening them to a hostage situation and selling your soul to the devil, which is, if anything, too kind. At least when you make a deal with the devil, he offers you something cool, like a sick golden fiddle in return. And he surrenders even when I think there's a pretty good case that he's the better fiddler. Sure, Johnny does rosin up his bow and play that fiddle hard, but he's sampling old folk songs. There's nothing original there. The devil, however, is playing an original dissonant composition backed up by a band of demons. He's bringing way more to the musical table. Now, we don't have time for me to play both sides and fully convince you, but go listen to that song again and tell me you're not having way more fun listening to the devil. Happy Easter, by the way. But it's not just the restaurants that these apps can harm. It's also the delivery workers. In most places, Delivering for these companies is gig work. You set your own hours and drive as much or as little as you choose. And companies have sold this as a great thing. Grubhub runs recruiting spots showing happy people balancing childcare, careers as artists.
Now we gotta get into the deep part, you guys. To the deep part. This is what I want to see. This is where it gets interesting with John Oliver.
Dashers on DoorDash look very similar to consumers in the sense that they value their time as much or sometimes more.
Time is sacred, you guys. I said it over again. Time is sacred.
Choosing, some of these part-time gig opportunities so that they can, save for a project, whatever that may be, whether that's, buying a gift for someone or starting an orphanage.
What? That is so left field. What?
Starting an orphanage? What the fuck are you talking about?
Thank you.
Orphanages aren't generally side hustles. You don't tend to see Rachel.
That's what I always keep saying, you guys. It's a side hustle. I'm not doing this to start an orphanage. What are you talking about?
The capital to disrupt the orphanage space. Then you corner the orphanage market, automate it with robot workers to take care of the kids, create a rating system for potential adoptive parents to rate the baby's vibe.
And guys, this is no shots to the orphanage. I'm all support of those nonprofit orphanage. But who's doing this to support an orphanage?
Orphanages. But the truth is, for many of those engaged in gig work, it's not a side job, it's their main source of income, and that can be a real problem when you consider that delivery apps classify their workers as independent contractors, meaning they have to pay for all of their own expenses, and as this guy in New York explains, that can be a lot.
The bike itself cost between $1,800 and $1,900 new. I upgraded it in many ways.
This is where it gets really interesting. Here in New York City, the expenses are crazy. Like these bikes that they're showing right now are over $2,000. No question about it. And the fact is that this particular bike, you guys, it is really, really resellable in the black market, which means it's targeted by thieves.
Look, that is all ridiculous, but the backpack might be the most egregious part there. This is a backpack you can't use for anything else. Imagine using it for school, unless you're a second grader who shows up every day with a social studies book, a PB&J, and 13 orders of pad ki mao. It doesn't really work.
I seen that, you guys. I seen
it.
Believe it or not.
Workers are also at the mercy of the app's opaque algorithms, which are used to dictate speed, behavior, and ultimately the wages of the workers. Many apps set up a game-like system of rewards and penalties, offering high scores for being on time and low scores and fewer orders for tardiness. And of course, a significant part of that system is negative reviews. You might think a bad review is going to a restaurant or the app itself, but all workers know getting one can severely restrict your options going forward. In fact, just a few negative responses have the power to dry up worker income or even get them booted off the platform altogether. And those who've studied this will tell you that dynamic is a significant problem.
Much of reputation systems were put in place to be able to give consumers reviews of products that doesn't transfer well to workers' effort, turning it into the equivalent of evaluating whether we got a good coffee. That place.
Honestly, you guys, I have gotten bad ratings myself. I'm not gonna lie. And I don't blame some of these people because the bad rating, it reflects on the food being stale or the food being tampered with.
And that is much worse, I will tell you. As a computer scientist, I will tell you that that's much worse.
Right, that is a terrible system. Workers have even called the algorithm the Patron Phantasma, or Phantom Boss, which sounds like a reality show on Max that somehow already has 12 seasons. And this downward pressure is a big part of why you might see delivery workers speeding or going the wrong way down a street on their bike. The clear incentive is to make as many orders as you can, as quickly as you can, even if that means compromising safety. And speaking of safety, these jobs can be risky. In cities like New York, delivery workers are constantly dodging traffic and have been robbed and attacked. And that's even before people ask them to bring them food through extreme weather like blizzards and even floods.
It, guys.
And by the way,
look at this. I
don't
seen
do
it.
That.
I seen
if you
it.
see a flash flood warning pop up on your phone and immediately open Grubhub, sorry, you don't get to go to heaven. That was the test.
That used to be me, you guys. When it was raining, I will go out in the streets and collect and try to make as much cash as possible. Because when it rains, it literally rains money, if you know what I mean.
Apps don't have to pay for their health insurance. In fact, one survey found that of those who'd experienced a work-related injury, 3 out of 4 delivery workers said they paid for medical care out of their own pocket, all of which can lead to things like this supposedly heartwarming human interest story from January about a video that had gone viral.
Bro, what are you doing? Are you serious?
I got bills to pay, bro.
I respect that, dude. That's crazy.
This is how
That's
Kevin
crazy.
Ross has been making a living.
That's really sad, honestly. Really, really sad.
Straps a walker onto the bike so he has support when he goes inside restaurants. Back in September, Kevin says he was making a delivery for Grubhub when he was hit by a car.
I got hit. I blacked out. Next thing I know, I'm in the hospital.
He needed surgery, and doctors told him recovery would take months. But with hardly any savings, he had no choice but to get back to work.
Well, hold on. No choice? What do you mean? Grubhub says they're all about...
I don't know about you guys. Here in New York City area, I think we just experienced another earthquake. I'm not sure. I just felt the whole floor like trembling. and there's no one lives above me, so you know, we here in New York City, you guys, I think we just experienced another earthquake probably. We had an earthquake at this morning at around 11 a.m. of 4.3 magnitude. I don't know if we're feeling the shocks right now. I just felt the floor trembling right now. I'm not sure. So if you guys heard anything, please leave it on the live chat, because I don't. I feel like, wow, this is so supernatural right now. But anyway, let's continue with the video, y'all. Wow.
Without giving their delivery workers choice. They get to choose their own hours, choose to run a red light rather than be punished by the algorithm, and they get to choose to get back to work while severely injured instead of facing crushing medical bills. They've got more choices than Sophie. Haven't seen the movie. So workers are vulnerable because they lack labour protections and health insurance, and all of this risk is in service of a job where, like, unfortunately, most service jobs, most of their income comes in the form of tips, which can make up a third to half of their total earnings. But the thing is, those tips obviously aren't guaranteed. The Verge interviewed a delivery worker who reported biking from 77th Street on the Upper East Side, 18 blocks south and over the Queensborough Bridge, then up through Long Island City and over another bridge to Roosevelt Island, all to deliver a single slice of cake for no tip.
Yeah, but that's also the delivery driver's fault. Like, why would you take an order like that? Like, you could see those orders. You could see those orders before it shows up, you guys. Like, orders like that, we tend to stay away from. That's the beauty about here in New York City, that you could see the orders before actually doing it. So, but that's an argument that you could have with the delivery rider as well. Why would you pick an order that is gonna make you deroute so many bridges and stuff like that? You're not gonna make any money.
The platforms themselves lose a ton of money in the hundreds of millions of dollars, billions collectively.
Why does this business even make sense?
I'm not sure it does. And I think they're still trying to figure out how to make money at this, even today.
Wow. They're still trying to figure out how to make money at this. These are companies valued at billions of dollars, and yet they're being talked about the same way you talk about your cousin who sells jewellery on Etsy. And while that might sound counterintuitive, it actually makes perfect sense. Because the old menus in a drawer form of delivery set certain firm limits. It involved one restaurant directly hiring a delivery worker who then delivered food to a limited area. But these apps introduce whole new categories of cost to the equation, from marketing to lobbying to building and maintaining a whole website. And they're basically following the classic tech disruptor model of using Wall Street money to grow at all costs, corner a market, undercut their competitors, and then buy them up, all with the ultimate goal of monopolizing the sector and then massively raising prices. Think about how Uber and Lyft used to be much cheaper than traditional taxis, and then, once they dismantled that model, they jacked their prices way up. We're just at the point in the cycle where companies can lose a ton of money, keep prices low for consumers, even as they try and offset that by squeezing restaurants and delivery workers at the bottom. But the consolidation era has very much begun. Uber Eats bought Postmates, DoorDash bought Caviar, and Grubhub merged with Seamless. In fact, Grubhub and DoorDash alone comprise more than 20 companies that once competed with one another. And some of these companies will tell you that they're now either breaking even or turning a slight profit, though.
I honestly don't think they're making any money on these delivery food apps. I think they're just competing with each other. Because honestly, it takes about 10 years for a business to be profitable. So I think they're just waiting on those 10 years to be up, or they probably DoorDash is gonna buy them all out.
Incredibly convenient service.
But the thing is that they don't.
I call this the millennial lifestyle.
The thing is that these food delivery apps are not making money. Their whole concept of making money is not like for orders. It's not how many restaurants they have on their account. Yes, it does play a true part on that, but these are startup companies like DoorDash, Grubhub, what was the other one? Uber Eats. These are all startup companies, and they all make their money on investors. Investors, they invest their money in there, and that's how they truly make money. So them trying to make a profit on these delivery apps, they're just competing with one another. The true money is on these investors that pour money on these delivery apps.
And I will say, some places are trying. Here in New York, thanks to the hard work of, among others, a collective of delivery workers called Los Deliveristas Unidos, the city passed a law that guarantees a minimum pay rate for delivery workers. But the apps haven't made it easy. Once that rule rolled out, they increased their fees to users and restaurants and tried to reduce the end price to the consumer by making it harder to find the tipping option. If you live in New York, check to make sure you're still tipping people, because it's possible that you're not. And in California, the state passed a law in 2019 expanding protections to gig workers. But some of the big delivery apps, along with rideshare companies and others, pushed a ballot proposition called Prop 22 that would carve themselves out of that law. And they went all out to get it passed.
The latest data from the Secretary of State's office show Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Postmates, and Instacart have spent more than $184 million combined campaigning for.
Because that's the thing, you guys. Of course they're gonna fight back. You know, like these top companies know that they cannot withstand this business like that. They're saying that the deliverista, you know, they changed the game here in New York City with hourly rate, but yet again they failed to mention about active time. And I'm not surprised that they mentioned about the whole agenda with the whole tipping situation, but this gig was depending on gigs. It was depending on tips. Sorry guys. It was this whole delivery apps were all depending on gigs. When you will get an order and accept an order, you will look at the tips. You don't really care about the pay rate. You will look at the tip and you will get motivated to accept the tips. It was never about the hourly pay rate, and that's what people are not are misinformed.
State and city level. It might also be worth talking about what you yourself can do in the meantime, because I am not saying you shouldn't use delivery apps. A lot of people rely on them, from working parents to disabled people to people who are, like me right now, baked out of their fucking minds. But the fact is that it's just too easy to use these apps while completely forgetting the actual human beings behind them whose fates you control by just pressing a button. So when it comes...
Well, that is true, you guys. Like, you just never know which delivery person you'll get, you know. You might get somebody that has bad luck and gets hit by a car and loses his life, because one thing that they mentioned on this HBO video is that the delivery riders, they are like one of the hardest and riskiest jobs out there, just because of the nature of the business. You got a lot of cars trying to cut you over, people in the way, and especially here in New York City with all this pothole. And it was a good video of HBO. They cover most of the problems with these food delivery apps, and you know, it was kind of a little bit super biased against the apps. I wish it was unbiased to take a middle part of it, because yes, the apps are accountable, and also the people are accountable as well, because the people should know that this is a contracting job. You know, this is a contract job. You are able to see the delivery before accepting it. before you get into a crazy mess. And also, you could blame the apps as well, because the apps are 100% liable at this part. You know, like the fact is that they keep messing with the whole programming of tipping people. That is true now. Now they made it really difficult to tip somebody. But at the end of the day, the apps need to increase their wage, since the city mandated a hourly pay rate. It is what it is at this point. I honestly, doing these food deliveries just for the tax write-off, they make money shorting drivers and supposed error of $3 more per driver. I mean, that is true, but now we don't have to worry about those situations no more, because we're getting paid hourly. That is, take your time with these orders. So yeah, you guys, just keep in mind that these food delivery apps, you know, are also at fault, but also the people are at fault as well, you know. I remember like when Postmates started, and man, you know, it was super, super freaking weird doing Postmates at the time, because there was no like organization at the time, but we still made it work. Believe it or not, we still made it work. We was able to figure it out on our own. But now, you know, with this whole social media is up in flame with food delivery apps, you got channels like myself vlogging about this type of gig work. You got DoorDasher. You got Yogi Steve also. You got who else? Wilser also, that has over like 30,000 subscribers. You got a lot of vloggers now. Sharing the wealth and sharing the knowledge and how to pick up good orders. But now these days, you guys, for the least people watching right now, there ain't no such things as a good order. Right now, you just need to play it smart, and hopefully, things, turn out to be good at the end. Yeah, we gotta end the live stream. I just wanted to do a little watch along on this. I know a lot of people are saying, damn, Anthony, you be going live really, really frequently now. And that's because my setup has upgraded. This whole setup, it's easier for me now to go live now. Before, I used to had to do a lot of programming with OBS, with the microphones. Now I have it down, packed, and ready. And one of the benefits also that makes this whole thing easier is actually the vertical stream. Yo, what's up, Brave Man? What's up, Brave Man? We shipped those stickers out. I think you bought a couple of them on eBay. We shipped them out today, man. If you don't see that there's a tracking number, man, that's because the ink of the tracking number was kind of messed up, but we put a postage on it, so hopefully you could get it on really soon. For the people that don't know what I'm talking about, we sell stickers just to support the channel. I don't make no money on these stickers, by the way. These whole stickers is just to go back to the channel with for example, with these cables, HDMI cables, charging cables. Those things tends to break. The reason why this tends to break is because we do vlogs in the field. We go out there in New York City, and that plug in, plug out on your iPhone, doing Uber Eats and stuff like that, keeping the phone charged causes wear and tear on these cables. So we put it back on the. We put the money that we make out of the merchandise and the commercials of YouTube back to like accessories and stuff like that. What else? We're about to end the live stream. Whoa, we're about to end the live stream. I wanted to talk about the scooter that I want to upgrade to, because sooner than later I'm about to sell my Dortron Eagle Pro. For the people that don't know, I have a Dortron Eagle Pro that I'm going to get rid of. Let me show you my Dortron Eagle Pro for the people that don't know what is a Dortron Eagle Pro. Let me go on YouTube. Dortron Eagle Pro. We got Yogi Steve is live right now. Hold on, let me show you guys the Dortron Eagle Pro. And after I show you guys the Dortron Eagle Pro, we gotta give Yogi Steve a shout out, because he is live right now. So this is the Dualtron Eagle Pro right here, you guys. So that scooter, it's a 4 or 5 year old scooter, and that's my main that's my main scooter. I want to get rid of it because now with this whole with Uber Eats just taking our time, and you know the Dualtron Eagle Pro is not essentially for this type of gig no more, because now that we need to take our time, I don't need the Dualtron Eagle Pro because now we need to go slow. The Dualtron Eagle Pro goes a lot faster than just slow, you guys. This is a 40 miles per hour scooter, so we're gonna get rid of it. And with the money that we get from the Dualtron Eagle Pro, I think we're gonna use the money to upgrade parts of the Segway Max, because now the Segway Max it turned out to be our main scooter. So with that being said, I'm gonna use the money to modify my Segway Max. And yes, there is a Segway Max G2 with full-blown suspensions. It goes a little bit faster. I was thinking maybe I just should use the money to buy the G2. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the money with the Dualtron Eagle Pro. For the people that are watching right now here in New York City, I have not determined a price on how much I'm gonna sell the Dualtron Eagle Pro. I was thinking in the range between 800 to 500. It does have over 5,000 miles, the scooter. So I think that's a fair value for the Dualtron Eagle Pro. So if you guys are interested of me selling the Dualtron Eagle Pro to you guys, let me know. It's a beat up scooter at this point. There's my scooter right there. This scooter has over 5,000 New York City miles, and we're gonna get rid of it because, you know, it's time to move on, I guess. It's time to move on. Anyways, you guys, the next live stream, hopefully I could show you guys what scooters I want to upgrade to. We got the Apollo City. Maybe I upgrade to the Apollo City, or maybe I upgrade to a more economical, friendly commute scooter, back to the Dualtron. But this time they have a new lineup. They have the Dualtron Popular. The Dualtron Popular, guys, I'm not sure about this scooter. I was seeing Freshly's Charge review, and honestly, they kind of sold me. They kind of sold me on the Dualtron Popular. But the thing is with this type of scooter is, man, it's 9-inch wheels, man. It's like 9 inches. And I know people in the comments were like, yo, it's only 9 inches, yo. Like, who cares about 9 inches? But anyways, we're gonna talk more in depth about it, hopefully pretty soon, because we're about to get out of here, you guys. Anyways, ride safe and stay safe.